Anyway, this person in a different class has already been working on their study guide, which, as you recall, is on the back of these 1-6 notes. So they've already been working on their study guide, and their question was, can you help me with, they asked for help with 34 and 35, and I said I could, but then what would we do during class today? That's what we got to finish up with our notes. So if you've been trying to do the study guide, you've not been able to do 34 and 35 yet. Otherwise, you can do all the things. Literally all of them. Okay, there are some people in the room who still haven't finished their blue checkpoint, which we gave on Friday. It was 1415. If you're not sure if that's you or not, we can check. But when I get done rambling, if you need to show me your checkpoint, you can. Or if you need to show me either of those workbook pages, you can. Or heck, let's face it, some of us still haven't showed me the 1-5 homework that was on the back of the notes. So if you need to show me things, you sure can. Okay, I'm done rambling. Can someone volunteer for number 7? Yes, table 5. 42. Okay, she said 7 squared minus 7, 49 minus 7, that is 42. She is correct. Her group can have a point. Anyone want to volunteer for number 8? Ooh, fast hands, table 1. Table 1. 4? Okay, so 10 minus 2 plus 2 squared. You got to deal with those parentheses. So 10 minus 2 plus 2 squared is 4. So it's really 10 minus 6, which is 4. Yes, table 1, you can add a point. And that was the fast volunteers. Now is there a volunteer for number 9? Yes, table 6. Okay, the x-intercept is at 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes. You're going to have a point for that. You're going to keep going. I'll give you all the points.
Why is that 3?
The y-intercept is at 3. You can have a point for that. Tell me the equation for slope-intercept. Yes, table 5?
Is it y1 minus y2 over x1?
That is the equation for slope, yes. But is it going to be the equation for slope-intercept? No. Table 1, yes. That is what I'm looking for. Can you give me some numbers there? That is slope-intercept, so you can have a point for that. You're the only one who seemed to know that at the moment. It feels like a Monday for some reason. I can tell what the B is from where it hits on the graph. I know what the B is. I know the B is 1, 2, 3. I just got to figure out that M. I got to figure out the slope of that line. So I could use Kelsey's formula. That's not a bad idea. Or I could just count. Should it be a positive or a negative slope? It's negative because it's leaning to the left. Okay, so how I figured out the B is where it's crossing that y-axis, which would be the same as that y-intercept. Now our question is how to figure out that M. We could use Kelsey's formula because we did know y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. But you already passed algebra and you're faster than that. So really, it would be just as easy to count it. What I do is I look for where it's crossing at pretty places, and look, you and I know 2 pretty places. Okay, slope is rise over run. What does that mean? Okay, so I went over and up. That's not right. I have a magic erasable highlighter though, so I can fix things. So I'm supposed to go up and then over. So let's count how many up and how many over. I'm going up 1, 2, 3. I'm going over 1, 2, 3, 4. And as we discussed, it's negative because of the way that line is leaning. Now, if you don't like that, and you can't count like that, could you have used the point, let's see, this is 0, 3. This is 4, 0. And we could have applied Kelsey's formula, y2 minus y1, 0 minus 3, over x2 minus x1, 4 minus 0. And I still would have gotten negative 3 over 4. However, I think my counting method was faster. Okay, so I'm assuming you're going to break my heart, because if we struggled with y equals mx plus b, that means we definitely don't know standard form, right? Can someone at least tell me standard form to get their group a point? It starts with an A. Okay, my group gets a point for myself. AX plus BY equals C. That makes me sad. So we'll have some options. He could rearrange this equation. He could say, okay, I had y equals negative 3/4 x plus 3. Miss Compton's saying she wants the x and the y on one side, the number on the other. So let me move that 3/4 over, and I would have 3/4 x plus y equals 3. However, if it's been a while since algebra class, I totally get that. But we're not allowed to have fractions in standard form, so I'm going to multiply everybody by 4. Everybody. And I would end up with 3x plus 4y equals 12. So my answer is 3x plus 4y equals 12. Now, more than likely, I know Will can rearrange an equation. I taught him at Algebra 1, and I'm sure your Algebra 1 taught you too. So I'm sure you could have rearranged the equation to get x and y on one side, the number on the other. I think you could have come up with this. However, what's super cool is that notice the y-intercept is the number in front of the x. The x-intercept is the number in front of the y. There is a correlation going on here. Okay, we're going to do the same junk on number 10. Can someone tell me the x-intercept? Say it again, Kelsey. -5 is that x-intercept. Your group can have a point. Can someone tell me the y-intercept? Yes, Arturo.
+5.
+5. That is correct. Can someone tell me the equation of the line in slope-intercept form? I know it's going to be y equals, I got to figure out my m, x plus, and I know my b is 5. So I got to figure out that m again. Can someone tell me the slope? Yes, dear?
Is it -5?
Okay, so if we're counting from here and you go up 5 and over 5, right? So 5 over 5. What does 5 over 5 reduce to? 1. So do I even put anything there? No, I'm just going to, it's a 1, but I'm just going to put, I should just put y equals x plus 5. Now, if you wanted to think Kelsey's way, again, could you have, this is -5, 0. This is 0, 5. Could you have used the formula m as y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, and you would have gotten -5 over -5, which is still 1, so Kelsey can still formula it all day long if she wants to. And for 2 points, can you tell me the equation in standard form? Yes, Will? Is it x plus y equals? He thinks it is x plus y equals 5. That is going to be incorrect. Arturo, you had a thought?
Now that you mentioned it, mine was the same.
Let me remind you again, we want the x first, then the y, then equals, and then a number. Yes, dear. Okay, so tell me what you think it should be then. Okay, so what he did was he subtracted x from both sides, and that looks good. But again, we're forgetting there were special rules with standard form, and you can't have a negative in front. So I'm actually going to multiply everyone by -1. You can still get your 2 points, although Alex is not helping you today. I keep wanting to take points away from that one. I'm going to multiply everybody by -1 and change everyone's sign. So I'm going to have a positive x, a negative y, and a -5. And you're like, Miss Compton, why do you do that? And there was specific rules with standard form that you couldn't have a negative in front. I swear we're going to get to graphing soon. That's why we're going to be reviewing graphing in our math workshops. So I can forgive you if you've forgotten about standard form. I can't really forgive you if you've forgotten about slope-intercept. That's kind of something I really think you should already know. Are there any questions about the math workshop? Okay, I got at least one still copying, so I'm going to leave it on the screen. Go ahead and get out your notes. We got to do 5 through 8. After today, there's no more math to be said. Once I do these 4 examples, you know all the things you need to know in order to pass our test on Friday. You're going to have all class tomorrow to work on your study guide, but it would be smart for Addison to come in with questions like, hey, can you help me with number 30? That would be smart. Otherwise, regardless, I'm posting the key to the study guide tomorrow afternoon. The test is Friday. The study guide is a 30% grade. The test is a 60% grade. Okay, is there anyone else still copying? No, I don't think so. Okay, let's go to these notes. So yesterday we were talking about ands and ors. Were there any questions about 1 or 4 or 2 and 3 when we were graphing our inequalities? Okay, well, funnily enough, we're still going to be graphing inequalities today, but it doesn't appear that way because of these absolute value bars. How many answers do you get with absolute value problems? Normal ones. You're supposed to get 2 answers. Isn't that why you keep failing that checkpoint? Because you keep not giving me 2 answers? So, we should do z equals, if this was an equal sign, let's pretend it was this, then you would tell me my 2 options are z equals positive 8, and you would tell me my second option is z equals negative 8. Correct? Okay, we're going to use that same sort of logic today, but notice that we're not having an equal sign. We're having a greater than or equal to for this problem. Okay, so we're still going to have z, and we're still going to have 8, and we're still going to have z, and we're still going to have the option with negative 8. But what we've got to pay attention to is we're not, it's not an equal to sign. So we're still going to have the normal one, where literally all Addison did was she copied it down and dropped the bars. That's our first case. But with our second case, when Addison's made it a negative number, we're actually going to flip that inequality sign. So that's the special thing that's happening today. Let me say that again. Addison, for the first case, just copies it down, drops the bars. But for that second case, when it's the negative potential solution, she's going to flip that inequality sign. Okay, so really right now I have 2 answers. I'm saying that z is less than negative 8. Or z is greater than or equal to 8. And then if Addison was being super fancy, what we didn't discuss yesterday, and the way she could write it today, because I was just trying to get math done yesterday and I didn't want to be fancy. But today we could be fancy. Addison knows her answer. Z is bigger than 8. Z is less than 8. She knows her answer is bigger than negative 8. But she also knows her answer is, no, I'm not going to write it like that. I don't want to do that. We're not going to bother. We could write it in interval notation, but we're not going to bother. I'm not trying to make your life too deep today. My goodness, we've already got enough going on. Okay, so ignore my green scratching. How do we graph this? Why is it a closed circle and negative 8? Okay, and since it's less than or equal to, which way do I shade? Okay, and that's how your group gets a point. Okay, I'm being lazy. I know there are a lot of numbers in between. I got it. Being super lazy. What's the next number I really need to have on my graph? And then, is it an open circle or a closed circle? And then which way do I shade? And your group can have a point, and your group can have a point. Didn't you help as well in the back? You can have a point too. I heard 3 voices. So it looks a lot like those OR graphs we were doing yesterday. Well, what's going to happen is Addison's going to forget, because she does this. She forgets absolute value problems need 2 answers. So she's not going to graph 2 things on her number line. So she's going to end up messing up the whole problem. We got to make sure she doesn't do that. Okay, we get to our next one, and lo and behold, we're going to have to do a little more math. Our first case is going to be just drop the bars, 4t minus 3 less than or equal to 7. I got that. But our second case is where life gets fancy. We're going to have 4t minus 3. We're going to have negative 7. But we've got to flip that inequality sign. And you still solve for the equation. So I'm still going to add 3 and have 4t is less than or equal to 10. So 10 is less than or equal to, can someone simplify 10 over 4 for me? Say it again. Can you give me the fraction? Okay, you can have a point. Okay, and then I've still got to solve on the other side. I'm still going to add 3. I'll have 4t is greater than or equal to negative 4. So I'll end up with what? Perfect, you can have a point. So t is greater than or equal to negative 1. I'm getting lazy. I'm just going to slip that word or inside. So we're either saying t is less than 5 over 2 or t is greater than or equal to negative 1. And I slipped this word or inside, and I think it's the wrong word to use, but we're about to find out. Okay, what numbers do I for sure need to have on my number line? Negative 1 and what else? Okay, and 5 over 2, Eduardo, yes. Already said it was 2.5, so I know it's 1, 2, so somewhere between 2 and 3. So I'm going to put, let's see, let me swap pen colors. Here we are at 2.5, which is what 5 over 2 is. Do I fill in that circle or no? Yes, because it's got that equal to. Then which way do I shade? Okay, I'm going to shade just a little bit to the left, and then I'm going to stop, because I don't really know what's going to go on with the other one. Are we normally running into each other like this? No, normally that only happens on like number 1 and number 4. So I'm going to stop right there, because I'm scared. I'm going to go graph the other thing. T is greater than or equal to negative 1. Do I fill in the circle?
Yes.
Which way do I shade? And so I've used the wrong word, because it's not an or, is it? It's not saying, hey, our answer is down here, or it's up there. It's not in the middle. Our answer is saying it's only in the middle, so I should not put that word or. In fact, if I wanted to be politically correct, I'd slip in that word and. And then if I was trying to be super fancy, the way we were on number 1 and number 4 yesterday, I could write this as one really long statement, and we will do it on this one. My answer is between -1 and 5/2. Now, I'm probably, because I'm being nice and life is rushed, I'm probably not going to count off if Addison doesn't make this compound statement. I hope she can read it. But I am going to count off if she hasn't solved, she doesn't have 2 answers, and her graph is wrong. Okay, let's do number 7. Are there any questions about number 6? I went fast on that one. Let's do number 7. I'm hoping to hear from a group that's been very quiet today. Oddly quiet. What am I going to do in number 7? What are my 2 cases? Y'all are very helpful. I'm hoping to hear from the quiet ones. Maybe if I stare at them long enough, they'll answer. Hilarious. He did speak earlier. That's how his group already has a couple points. Okay, now what? Okay, she wants to go ahead and solve. So she wants to solve this first case. Let's let her solve. Okay, we subtract 5. Now what? By what? Okay, and what's my answer read? You can have your point. Okay, any other group can still set the other point. What should the second inequality say? Yes, group 3. You've been dying to both times. Go ahead, group 3.
Subtract 5. -4.
But what should that second inequality read right now?
Oh, 3b plus 5 or less than -5.
Okay, that's what I'm looking for, and you can have a point just for that. So again, we still have that positive and negative answer, but with that other option, you need to flip that sign. Okay, and then Arturo, do you want to solve? That way you can get your point.
Subtract both sides by 5.
Okay, and I have 3b is less than -19. Now what?
Divide them both by 3.
Divide them both by 3, so my answer reads,
6.3.
and you're telling me that's 6.3? Negative 6.3. Okay. I leave it in a fraction. I love me some fractions. Okay, so then I'm not even going to write the word and or because I don't know. Let's be honest. We don't know yet. We'll figure it out as we graph. I've got to have 3 on my graph. 1. I've got to have negative 6.3 or negative 19/3, so it's between 6 and 7. So I've got to go -1, -2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The good thing about your workbook is that they already give you the number line. Okay, so Arturo said that -19/3 is somewhere in here. So I'm going to put a circle. And I might even write a little note to myself. That's -19/3. Do I fill in that circle? Why? There's no line on it. Perfect. Which way do I shade? It says V is less than -19/3. Which way do I shade? To the left. So we're shading down this way. What is it looking like? An and or an or? And every group can... Did I hear it from the back group? Are you all going to be honest today? We'll give every group a point, but I don't think I heard it from you. We'll give everyone a point, though. Oh, okay. Okay, and then I have V is greater than 3, so I put my circle at 3. Greater than means I shade to the right. And this really didn't end up being an or problem, so I ought to go back to my thing and add in the word or. So absolute value problems are super cool because we don't know if they're an and or an or. To be honest, I really don't even think about it until I graph. Once I graph and I see my picture, if it's all in the middle, it's an and. If it's just the two ends, it's an or. And you're like, Miss Compton, why are you wrapping it up? Because we get to number 8. Someone help me with number 8. Yes, dear? Yes, dear?
I did 2r plus 7 is less than -1.
And? What was your other one?
2r plus 7 greater than 1.
Okay. And you can give a point for your group, but you're wrong. You can have a point, but you're wrong.
I don't get it. It's negative. It's kind of.
I mean,
I thought we. You already put this on.
anyone else got a thought on this? I had another hand raised before I let her steal the day. I can't tell you if you don't know.
I didn't hear what she said.
Look at number 8. She has a problem with it. What is her problem?
No.
Okay, and this is how Group 3 is going to get all the points today. Will you please tell me what the problem is?
It's negative.
So what am I going to write?
No solution. It's negative. I can't solve the problem.
You can't solve a problem with absolute value bars equaling a negative number. Don't the bars make everything positive? Don't the bars make everything positive? So we have something that says bars are less than -1. Is that ever going to happen where the stuff inside the bars is less than a -1? Now, if it had said bars is greater than -1, I can give you that because, you know, -7, so 7 is greater than -1. I'll give you that. But there's no number. If I plug in -7 here, 7 is not less than -1. It does not work. There is no solution. You've gotten tricked. I'm so sorry. Are there any questions on number 8?
So, can we not graph it?
We're not going to do anything. I'm going to write the word no solution and circle it. That's it. If there is a no solution on your test, I pray I'll notice it beforehand and I'll say there's a no solution one somewhere on here. But I swear if on every problem page puts no solution, I'm going to be mad. I'm going to be mad. I would rather Paige make the mistake she just made and try and then she'll fail and figure out what went wrong than her to put no solution and just be lazy. Okay, you have plenty of things you should be working on. If you want to come show me the things you can, just because I'm done talking doesn't mean I'm done giving out points.